Friends, if you want to watch super hit movie Snatch in English, then you must like this video. If you are visiting our channel for the first time, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, friends. In today's video, the movie we're going to talk about is called Snatch. We will talk about what this movie is and where you can watch it, all the interesting facts about this movie in today's video. I'm going to tell you. I'm also going to give you all the information on which OT platform or on which satellite channel you will get to watch this movie. Also, we will talk in detail about the technical department, music department, pre-production, filming, post-production, budget, box office collection of this film. We will also talk about the story of this film, and I will also give you a small review of the story of this film. Apart from this, we will discuss about the facts of this film's storyline, star-cast actors' performance in the film, and which character has played which role. That's why I request you, friends, to watch this video till the end. So let's start the video. Snatch is a 2000 British crime comedy film written and directed by Ritchie, featuring an ensemble cast and set in the London criminal underworld. The film contains two intertwined plots, one dealing with the search for a stolen diamond, the other with a small-time boxing promoter, Jason Statham, who finds himself under the thumb of a ruthless gangster, Alan Ford, who is ready and willing to have his subordinates carry out severe and sadistic acts of violence. The film shares themes, ideas, and motifs with Ritchie's first film, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. It is also filmed in the same visual style and features many of the same actors. Plot: a gang of robbers disguised as Orthodox Jews steal an 86-carat diamond during a heist in Antwerp. Frankie Four Fingers, the gang's leader, goes to London to see diamond dealer Doug the Head on behalf of Jewish-American organized crime figure Cousin Avi to fence the stolen diamonds. Frankie is told to visit arms dealer and ex-KGB agent Boris the Blade in London by one of the robbers, who tells Boris, his brother, to steal the diamond from Frankie. Unlicensed boxing promoter and slot machine shop owner Turkish is forced to enter his boxer Gorgeous George in a match against one of crime boss Bricktop's boxers. When Turkish sends his partner Tommy with George to purchase a caravan from a group of Irish travelers, Tommy is scammed into buying a faulty caravan, and George is knocked out by bare-knuckle boxing champion Mickey O'Neill with a single punch in a fight to settle the dispute. Left without a fighter, Turkish hatches an idea to use Mickey to replace the injured George in the upcoming match, who agrees in exchange for a new caravan for his mother. Bricktop demands that Mickey throw the fight. Boris arranges for pawnbrokers Vinnie and Sol to rob Frankie at Bricktop's bookies, while Avi, knowing Frankie is a gambling addict, flies to London with his bodyguard Rosebud to pick up the diamond personally. At the bookies, Sol, Vinnie, and their getaway driver Tyrone are caught on camera and find no money, since Gorgeous George's cancellation means that all bets are off. They manage to kidnap Frankie, handcuffed to the briefcase containing the diamond, but he is killed by Boris after Vinnie accidentally uses Boris's name within earshot. Hacking off Frankie's arm, Boris leaves with the diamond. At the match, Mickey again knocks his opponent out with a single punch, prompting Bricktop to seize Turkish's savings and demand that Mickey lose another fight. When Turkish is unable to convince Mickey to fight again, Bricktop responds by having his men trash Turkish's arcade and burn down Mickey's mother's caravan, killing her. Bricktop also successfully tracks down Tyrone, Vinnie, and Sol, who bargain for their lives by offering to retrieve the diamond for him. Avi and Doug hire bounty hunter Bullet-Tooth Tony to find Frankie, and they capture Boris and the diamond, pursued by Sol, Vinnie, and Tyrone, with Turkish and Tommy driving on the same road. Tommy inadvertently causes Tony to crash, killing Rosebud, and Boris escapes only to be hit by Tyrone's car. Confronted by Sol, Vinnie, and Tyrone at a pub, Tony scares them off after noticing their guns are harmless replicas. A heavily armed Boris arrives and is killed by Tony, while Sol and Vinnie escape with the diamond. Tony catches up to them, and they lie that the diamond is at their pawn shop, where Vinnie accuses his dog, which he was given earlier by the travelers, of eating it. When Avi tells Tony to kill the dog, Vinnie produces the diamond, which the dog snatches and swallows before running off back to the travelers' campsite. Avi fires wildly at the fleeing dog, accidentally killing Tony, and returns to New York City empty-handed. Mickey agrees to fight to avoid further carnage, but gets so drunk at his mother's wake that Turkish fears he will ruin the fixed match. Bricktop sends his men to the travelers' camp, prepared to kill them all if Mickey fails. Making it to the fourth round per Bricktop's plan, Mickey is knocked down, but recovers at the last moment and once again knocks out his opponent with one punch. Before they can kill Tommy, Turkish, and Mickey, Bricktop and his men are ambushed and massacred by the travelers. This was all planned by Mickey, avenging his mother while making huge winnings by secretly betting on himself. The next morning, Turkish and Tommy return to the travelers' campsite to recruit Mickey to fight for them legitimately, but find it deserted and are confronted by the police. Vinnie's dog then appears, and they claim to be simply out walking it, so the police allow them to leave. They cross paths with Saul and Vinnie, who are arrested with Frankie's body in the boot of their car. Taking the dog to a veterinarian to extract a squeaky toy it swallowed, Turkish and Tommy discover the diamond and consult Doug. He calls Avi, who returns to London to purchase it. Cast: Jason Statham as Turkish, Stephen Graham as Tommy, Dennis Farina as Abraham Cousin Avi Denovitz, Brad Pitt as Mickey O'Neill, Alan Ford as Bricktop Pulford, Benicio del Toro as Frankie Four Fingers, Robbie G. as Vincent Vinnie, Lenny James as Solomon, Adis Tyrone, Raid Sherbedgia as Boris the Blade Uranov, Vinnie Jones as Bullet Tooth Tony, Adam Fogarty as Gorgeous George, Mike Reed as Doug the Head Denovitz, Nicola and Tina Collins as Alex and Susie, Sorcha Cusack as Mrs. O'Neill, Jason Fleming as Darren, Goldie as Bad Boy Lincoln, Velibor Topic as the Russian, Sam Douglas as Rosebud, Ewan Bremner as Mullet, Andy Beckwith as Errol, Dave Legano as John, William Beck as Neil. Besides Vinnie Jones and Adam Fogarty, a number of other professional athletes appeared in the film in minor roles, including Saul Campbell as bouncer at boxing match, uncredited, Peter Sakatz as the Sausage Charlie, Andy Till as John the Gun, a boxer who shot himself in a flashback, Scott Welch as Horace Goodnight Anderson, a boxer who fought Mickey in the final bout. Production: Principal photography for Snatch was filmed between the 18th of October and the 12th of December 1999 in London and Buckinghamshire. A half-hour documentary of the production of the film was released featuring much of the cast along with Ritchie. Tom Delmar worked as the stunts choreographer for Snatch, and he has also choreographed stunt sequences in films such as Aliens, 102 Dalmatians, and Veliudum. Reception: Box office. Snatch was largely successful, both in critical response and financial gross, and has gone on to develop a devoted cult following. It opened in the UK on the 1st of September 2000 in 389 cinemas and grossed £2,637,064 in its opening weekend to become the #1 film at the box office. Including preview grosses of £542,638, its opening weekend gross of £3.1 million set the record for an 18-certificate film, beating the record set earlier in the year by American Beauty. From a budget of $10 million, the film grossed $12,137,698 in the United Kingdom, $30.3 million in the United States and Canada, and a total of $83.6 million worldwide. In my review of Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, Guy Ritchie's 1999 film, I wrote, "In a time when movies follow formulas like zombies, it's alive." So what am I to say of Snatch, Ritchie's new film, which follows the Lock, Stock formula so slavishly it could be like a new arrangement of the same song? Once again, we descend into a London underworld that has less to do with English criminals than with Dick Tracy. Once again, the characters have Runyonesque names: Frankie Four Fingers, Bullet Tooth Tony, Boris the Blade, Jack the All-Seeing Eye. Once again, the plot is complicated to a degree that seems perverse. Once again, titles and narration are used to identify characters and underline developments. There is one addition of considerable wit. In the previous film, some of the accents were impenetrable to non-British audiences, so this time, in the spirit of fair play, Ritchie has added a character played by Brad Pitt who speaks a gypsy dialect even the other characters in the movie can't understand. Pitt paradoxically has more success communicating in this mode than some of the others do with languages we allegedly understand. He sounds like a combination of Adam Sandler and Professor Backwards. Ritchie is a zany, high-energy director. He isn't interested in crime. He's interested in voltage. As an unfolding event, Snatch is fun to watch, even if no reasonable person could hope to understand the plot in one viewing. Ritchie is almost winking at us that the plot doesn't matter, that it's a clothesline for his pyrotechnics, if indeed pyrotechnics can employ clotheslines, but don't get me started. The plot assembles its lowlifes in interlocking stories involving crooked boxing, stolen diamonds, and pigs. After Frankie Four Fingers, Benicio del Toro, steals a diamond in Antwerp, Belgium, and returns to London, a Russian named Boris the Blade, Raid Sherbejia, and an American gangster named Avi, Dennis Farina, try to separate him from it. Not easy, since it is in a case handcuffed to his wrist. Meanwhile, somehow I don't think meanwhile quite says it, a boxer named Gorgeous George is knocked flat, and two shady promoters find themselves in hock to a crime czar. Desperate to find a winner, they recruit the gypsy played by Pitt, who is a formidable bare-knuckle fighter that London gamblers won't recognize. Also, bodies are fed to pigs. Pitt's character and the gypsy community where he lives are the most intriguing parts of the movie. If this summary seems truncated, it's because an accurate description of this movie dialogue might read like the missing chapters from Finnegan's Wake. Because the actors have cartoon faces, the action is often outrageous, and Ritchie has an aggressive camera style. The movie is not boring, but it doesn't build and it doesn't arrive anywhere. It's hard to care much about any of the characters because from moment to moment what happens to them seems controlled by chance. I mentioned the Marx Brothers in my review of Lock, Stock, and I thought of them again here as strangely dressed weirdos occupy an anarchic nightmare. I don't want Ritchie to grow. I don't care if he returns to the kind of material that worked for him the first time around. I just want him to get organized, to find the through line, to figure out why we would want to see the movie for more than its technique. I can't recommend Snatch, but I must report that no movie can be all bad that contains the following dialogue. U.S. Customs official, anything to declare? Avi, yeah, don't go to England. Note, I am not so crass as to mention in my review that Guy Ritchie and Madonna recently became man and wife. I save such biographical details for my footnotes and would overlook them altogether, except that it is blindingly clear to me that he should direct, and she should star in, a British remake of Guys and Dolls. He had to call people, send emails, talk to lawyers, and make sure everything was legal and safe. If the weather got bad, or a camera broke, guess who had to fix the problem? That's right, Matthew Vaughn. Being a producer means being ready for anything. Like a superhero who solves problems without wearing a cape. But even superheroes have tough days, and Matthew Vaughn had his share of challenges while making Snatch. One of the biggest problems was making sure that such a wild and twisty story didn't fall apart. The movie had lots of characters, lots of storylines, and lots of fast-talking scenes. That kind of movie can be hard to organize, and Matthew had to work closely with the director to make sure everything stayed clear and fun. Another big challenge was working with famous actor Brad Pitt, who joined the film to play Mickey, a tough and funny boxer. Brad Pitt was very busy and very famous, so getting him into the movie and organizing his schedule was a big job. Matthew Vaughn helped make it happen. He also had to convince movie companies to trust the project and help share the movie when it was done. Some people didn't understand Guy Ritchie's strange, funny style. So Matthew had to believe in the movie even when others weren't sure. He kept pushing, kept believing, and kept working day and night to make sure the movie was finished the way they wanted. In the end, Matthew Vaughn's performance as the producer of Snatch was amazing, even though his name isn't on the screen. As much as the actors or the director, he was like the engine that made the whole machine run. He believed in the movie when it was just a bunch of pages, and he helped bring it to life with all the right pieces in the right places. Thanks to Matthew's hard work, Snatch became a big success with fans all over. the world loving its funny characters, fast action, and cool style. He didn't just help make a movie. He helped make something special that people still talk about many years later. Matthew Vaughn later went on to become a famous director himself. But it all started with movies like Snatch, where he worked quietly and bravely behind the curtain. He showed that producers may not always be on camera, but without them, the movie would never happen. His story teaches kids that teamwork, planning, and believing in a big idea can help turn imagination into something real and unforgettable. Tim Morris-Jones was the cinematographer of Snatch, which means he was the person in charge of how the movie looked through the camera. If the director is the storyteller, then the cinematographer is the artist who paints the pictures we see on the screen. He chose the lights, camera angles, and colors to match the feeling of each scene. He had to think, should this part be bright or dark? Should the camera move fast or stay still? Should we zoom in close to the face or show the whole room? Time we watch a movie and say, wow, that looks cool. That's the work of a cinematographer like Tim. In Snatch, the story was wild and full of energy, so Tim had to make sure the camera work felt fast, sharp, and exciting. He used spinning shots, quick cuts, and cool movements to keep the audience awake and curious. Alrighty, he made the movie feel like a ride, zipping from one wild scene to the next. Working on Snatch wasn't easy, though. Tim Morris-Jones had a very big and busy job. He had to carry heavy cameras, set up big lights, and make decisions every minute. Some scenes had lots of characters talking fast. Some had action like boxing fights or car chases, and some had dark, sneaky places where people were hiding or arguing. For each type of scene, he had to choose the right look. He had to work with the lighting crew, the camera team, and the director guy, Ritchie, all at the same time. Some days he had to shoot outside where the sunlight changed every hour. Days he had to film inside tiny rooms where there wasn't much space. Sometimes it rained when it wasn't supposed to. Sometimes a camera didn't work or an actor stood in the wrong spot. But Tim didn't give up. He stayed calm, used his skills, and found clever ways to fix things. He was like a camera wizard, making every shot look just right, Evan, when things went wrong. One of the coolest things Tim Morris-Jones did was give Snatch its special visual style. The movie has a unique look that's both funny and serious, fast, but also detailed. He used clever tricks like freeze frames where the action stops for a second and split screens where two things happen at once. He also used different kinds of lighting to make people look mysterious or dangerous. In one scene, the camera spins around a character to show that everything is out of control. In another, the lighting is very dark to show that something bad is about to happen. All of these choices made the movie feel alive and exciting. Tim helped tell the story without using words, just light, shadow, and movement. He made sure that every shot added something to the story. Thanks to his work, the movie doesn't just tell you what's happening, you can feel it through the pictures. That's the magic of cinematography, okay? And Tim made that magic happen in every scene. In the end, Tim Morris-Jones gave a fantastic performance as the cinematographer of Snatch. Even though most people don't see him on screen, his work is everywhere. In the movie, he helped turn Guy's wild story into something we could see, feel, and remember. Every cool camera shot, every clever visual trick, every funny or serious moment we saw with our eyes was made possible because of Tim's hard work and creativity. His style helped make Snatch famous and fun to watch. It didn't look like a normal movie. It looked like something special, something full of energy and character. Tim Morris-Jones showed that cinematographers are not just camera people. They are visual storytellers who use light, space, and time to create an unforgettable. Thanks to Tim, Snatch became more than just a story about gangsters. It became a movie full of style, speed, and surprise, and it all started with one camera and a lot of heart. John Harris was the editor of the movie Snatch, which means he was the person who took all the pieces of the movie filmed by the cameras and put them together like a big puzzle. Imagine you have lots of colorful puzzle pieces, but they're all mixed up. John's job was to fit these pieces in the right order so the story would make sense and be exciting to. After the director and cinematographer finished filming scenes, John sat at a computer and carefully chose which parts to keep and which parts to cut out. He decided how long each scene should last and when to switch from one character to another. Editing is very important because it controls the speed and flow of the movie, whether it feels slow and calm or fast and wild. For Snatch, John had to make sure the movie moved quickly so people wouldn't get bored, but also clear enough so they could follow all the crazy adventures happening at once. Working on Snatch was not easy for John Harris. The movie had many characters and many stories happening at the same time, which made editing tricky. He had to watch hours and hours of video to find the best shots for every scene. Sometimes there were different takes of the same scene, and he had to choose the one that felt right for the story. John also worked closely with the director, Guy Ritchie, who liked the movie to be fast and full of surprises. This meant John had to use special editing tricks like jump cuts, where the scene suddenly jumps forward, or quick cuts that show different angles really fast. These tricks helped keep the audience's attention and made the movie feel like a fun roller coaster ride. But using these tricks wasn't always easy. John had to be careful not to make the movie confusing or hard to understand. Finding the perfect balance was one of his biggest challenges. One of the biggest problems John Harris faced was making sure that even though the movie moved fast, the audience could still follow the story and care about the characters, because Snatch has many characters like gangsters, boxers, and thieves all doing different things. John had to make sure the movie didn't jump around too much or leave people confused. He also had to decide when to show important clues like the missing diamond or the sneaky dog, so the story would build up in a way that made sense. Another challenge was keeping the funny parts funny and the exciting parts exciting. Sometimes a scene might be funny, but also needed to move the story forward. So John had to cut and arrange the footage very carefully. Working with music and sound effects was also part of his job. John made sure the music started and stopped at the right moments to make scenes feel scary, exciting, or funny. His work made the movie feel alive and helped guide the audience's emotions. In the end, John Harris's work as the editor of Snatch was very important and very impressive. Even though many people don't see editors' names on the big screen, their work is everywhere in the movie. John helped turn the messy, jumbled pieces of film into a smooth, exciting story that was easy and fun to watch. His editing made Snatch feel fast, clever, and full of surprises, like a puzzle that fits perfectly together. Thanks to John's skill and hard work, the movie became famous for its sharp, smart style and energy. He showed that editors are like storytellers, too, using scissors and computers instead of pencils and paper to tell a great story. Without John Harris's editing, Snatch wouldn't have been the exciting adventure that so many people love today. His job reminds us that sometimes the hardest work happens behind the red scenes, but it makes all the difference. John Murphy was the person who made the music for the movie Snatch, okay? Making music for a movie is a very special job, because music helps tell the story without using words. Can make a movie feel happy, sad, exciting, or scary just by the sounds you hear. John had to listen very carefully to the movie and think about what kind of music would match each scene perfectly. Sometimes the scenes were fast and full of action, like when people were running or fighting. Other times, the scenes were funny or mysterious. John used different kinds of sounds and instruments to create music that made people feel all those things. He helped turn the pictures and words into a movie that touched the audience's hearts and made them want to watch more. Without his music, Snatch would feel, but because of John, it became full of life and energy. Making music for Snatch was not easy for John Murphy. One big problem was that the movie was very fast and had many different scenes happening. Quickly, John had to make sure the music fit perfectly with these quick changes. Sometimes the music had to be loud and strong to make action scenes exciting, and other times soft and quiet to let people hear important words or funny jokes. He had to work very closely with the director and editor to time the music just right. If the music was too long or too short, it could spoil the mood or confuse the audience. John had to listen to the movie many times, make changes, and sometimes start over to get everything perfect. This takes a lot of patience and skill. He also had to choose which instruments to use, like drums, guitars, or even electronic sounds to make the music feel modern and cool, like the movie itself. Another challenge John Murphy faced was mixing different types of music to match the movie's many moods. Snatch has funny parts, scary parts, exciting parts, and mysterious parts all mixed together. John had to create music that could jump from one feeling to another smoothly. For example, when a funny character does something silly, the music might sound playful and bouncy. But when a gangster is about to do something dangerous, the music might turn dark and tense. John's music helps the audience understand how to feel about what's happening without saying a single word. He also had to make sure the music didn't overpower the voices of the actors or the important sounds like footsteps, cars, or dogs barking. Balancing music with other sounds in a movie is like being a chef who mixes ingredients just right to make a tasty dish. John worked very hard to make sure the music was just right for every part of Snatch. In the end, John Murphy's music made Snatch special and unforgettable. His work helped bring the movie to life by adding feelings and energy that pictures and words alone could not do. Thanks to John's music, every scene felt like a new adventure. People who watch Snatch remember the exciting music as much as they remember the funny characters and wild story. John showed that music is not just background noise, but an important part of telling a story. His music helped make Snatch a movie, full of life, excitement, and surprises. It reminds us that sometimes the magic of a movie is hidden in the sounds we hear. And thanks to John Murphy, Snatch sounds as amazing as it looks. Sony Pictures Releasing is the company that helped bring the movie Snatch to people all around the world. When a movie is finished, it needs a way to get from the filmmakers to the audience. This is where a distributor like Sony Pictures comes in. Think of a distributor like a big helper who takes the movie from the studio and sends it to movie theaters, TV channels, and even places where people can buy or watch the movie at home. For Snatch, Sony Pictures worked hard to make sure the movie could be seen by as many people as possible. In the United States, the movie was released by a company called Screen Gems, which is part of Sony, and in other countries it was released by Columbia. Pictures also under Sony. This team helped choose the best dates to show the movie and planned how to tell people about it so they would want to watch it. One big part of Sony Pictures' job was to advertise the movie, which means telling people about Snatch so they get excited to watch it. They made posters, trailers, which are short videos that show the coolest parts of the movie, and commercials for TV and the internet. Advertising is like sending invitations to a big party. You want everyone to know when and where it is, so they come and have fun. Sony Pictures also helped arrange special events like movie premieres where actors and directors meet fans. This helped Snatch become popular before it even started showing in theaters. They wanted people to hear about the movie's funny story, wild characters, and fast action. The better the advertising, the more people go to watch the movie, and the more successful the movie becomes. Sony Pictures Releasing also faced some problems while distributing Snatch. One big challenge was that Snatch was different from many other movies, was fast, funny, and a little unusual. Some people worried if it would be too confusing for viewers or if it would only appeal to certain groups. So Sony had to figure out the best way to tell the story of the movie in ads and posters. without giving away too much, but still making it look exciting and fun. Another problem was that different countries have different rules and customs about movies, so Sony had to make sure the movie was okay to show everywhere. They had to work with theaters, TV, stations, and stores all over the world, which is a huge job. Sometimes they had to change the way the movie was shown or decide when it should be released, so it didn't compete with other big movies. This careful planning helped Snatch find its audience in many places. In the end, Sony Pictures Releasing, along with Screen Gems and Columbia Pictures, did an important and powerful job helping Snatch become famous worldwide. Without them, the movie might have stayed hidden and only a few people would have seen it. Thanks to their hard work, people everywhere got to watch Snatch in theaters and later on TV or at home. They helped the movie reach millions of fans who loved the funny characters, wild story, and fast pace. Sony Pictures showed that distributing a movie is like being a big helper who connects the movie with the audience. They helped turn Snatch from just a story into a worldwide adventure that many people enjoy even today. Their work teaches us that making a movie is not just about filming it, it's also about sharing it with the whole world. Dot production is the part of making a movie. Where everything starts to come together after the story is written. For Snatch, production was the time when all the planning turned into real work. It's like when you decide to build a big Lego castle. You need to get the blocks, figure out where each piece goes, and build step by step. A production means making. Sure, the actors come to the right place, the cameras are ready, the lights are set up, and the story starts coming alive. This part is very busy because lots of people work together every day to make sure the movie looks great and happens on time. The production team plans the shooting schedule, finds the places to film, and organizes everything so the director and actors can do their best work. Without production, a movie would only be words on paper and never become a real adventure in Snatch. Production was especially exciting because the movie has many different scenes: fast car chases, boxing matches, quiet conversations, and crazy chase scenes with dogs. The production team had to find all the right places to film these scenes, like streets in London and boxing rings. They had to make sure everything was ready before filming started, like getting costumes for the characters, hiring stunt people for action scenes, and making sure all the cameras and equipment were working perfectly. Production is like being the captain of a ship. You need to make sure everyone knows their job and the ship sails smoothly. The producers and production managers worked very hard to keep everything organized, fix problems quickly, and keep the movie on track even when unexpected things happened, like bad weather or changes in the schedule. Sometimes production can be tricky because movies don't always go as planned. In Snatch, the production team faced challenges like making sure the big fight scenes looked real and exciting, but were also safe for the actors. They also had to work with many actors who were famous and busy, so scheduling their time was very important. Another challenge was filming in crowded or noisy places where they had to make sure the sound was clear and the cameras captured the right action. The production team also helped solve problems when equipment broke or the weather didn't cooperate. This meant working long hours and staying calm even when things got stressful. Production is a team effort, and the people behind it worked like superheroes, making sure the movie was ready to tell its story the best way possible. At the end, the production of Snatch was a huge part of why the movie turned out so great. The hard work, planning, and teamwork during production helped bring the story to life and made the movie fun and exciting to watch. Production is the time when ideas become real, and thanks to the people working in production, Snatch became more than just a script hit, became a movie full of adventure, funny characters, and fast action. For kids learning about movies, production shows how many people need to work together and solve problems to make a film happen. It teaches that behind every movie you enjoy, there's a big team making sure everything is perfect. Production is like the heart of the yet. Movie-making process keeps the movie alive. From the very first day of shooting all the way to the last scene. Development is the very first and one of the most important steps in making a movie like Snatch. It's the time when the movie idea is born and starts to grow. Think of development like planting a tiny seed that will one day become a big tree. In this stage, the story is created, ideas are shared, and plans begin. For Snatch, the development process started with Guy Ritchie, the writer and director, who thought about the story he wanted to tell. He imagined the characters, the funny and exciting events, and the way the story would. During development, writers write the script or screenplay, which is like the blueprint for the movie. This script tells everyone what will happen in the story, what the characters say, and where the scenes take place. Without development, there would be no story to film, and the movie would never get started. During the development of Snatch, many important decisions were Guy Ritchie worked hard to create a story that was both funny and full of action. He decided to mix different kinds of characters like gangsters, boxers, and thieves to make the story interesting and surprising. The development stage also included planning how the story would look and feel. Should it be fast and funny or dark and serious? Guy also thought about what kind of music, costumes, and places would fit the story. Sometimes writers and producers talk a lot during development to make the story better and easier to understand. This stage can take a long time because everyone wants the movie to be great. Development is like drawing the map for a treasure hunt. You need to know where to go before you start the adventure. One of the biggest challenges in development is making sure the story is strong and exciting enough to keep people interested. For Snatch, the story had many parts and many characters, so it was tricky to make sure everything fit together and made sense. Guy Ritchie had to rewrite the script many times, changing things and adding new ideas until it was just right. Sometimes, ideas that seemed good at first didn't work well on paper, so they had to be changed or removed. Development is a time for experimenting and trying new things. It's normal for problems to come up, but solving them helps make the movie better. The people working in development need to be patient and creative, like artists shaping their clay until it looks perfect. Their hard work helps make sure the story will be exciting and fun when it finally reaches the big screen. In the end, development was a very important part of making Snatch because it gave the movie a strong foundation. Without a good plan and a great story from development, the movie would not have been as funny, clever, or fast-paced as it is. Development helps everyone working on the movie know what to do and how to do it. It's the stage where ideas turn into a real plan that guides the whole movie making process. For kids learning about movies, development shows how important it is to think, plan, and work hard before starting a big project. Thanks to the careful and creative work done during development, Snatch became a movie full of energy, surprises, and fun that many people enjoy watching over and over again. Casting is the special job of choosing the right people to play the characters in a movie like Snatch. Imagine you have a big play to put on and you need to find friends who can act as the heroes, the villains, and the funny people. Casting is just like that. It's about finding the perfect actors who can bring the story to life and make the characters feel real. For Snatch, casting was very important because the movie has many different and interesting characters like gangsters, boxers, thieves, and even a talking dog. The casting team looked for actors who could act well, fit the character's personality, and make the audience believe the story. Without good casting, even the best story can feel dull because the characters don't seem real or exciting. When casting Snatch, the filmmakers had to think carefully about each role. They wanted actors who could show the funny, clever, and sometimes dangerous sides of their characters. Some actors needed to be tough and strong like the boxers and gangsters, while others needed to be silly or sneaky. For example, Brad Pitt was chosen to play a funny and tough character named Mickey. His acting helped make the movie both exciting and funny. The casting people had to watch many actors perform, sometimes asking them to read lines from the script or act out a small scene. This helped them decide who fit best. Casting is like putting together a team, where every player has a special skill, and the team works best when all the players fit their roles perfectly. Casting is not always easy because sometimes the actors who audition don't feel quite right, or the filmmakers have to choose between many talented people. In Snatch, the casting team had to make sure the actors could work well together and help tell the story clearly. They also had to consider the actors' schedules, because many famous actors are very busy. Sometimes actors can't take a role because they have other projects. So the casting team must find other good choices. Another challenge is that the movie has different kinds of characters, so casting had to be very flexible and creative. The casting team's hard work helped make sure the movie had the perfect mix of actors who could make the story come alive. With all its excitement and humor, in the end, casting was a huge part of why Snatch became such a fun and memorable movie. The right actors helped the audience feel like they were watching real people having wild adventures. Casting helped bring the script from words on paper to real people with faces, voices, and personalities. Thanks to casting, Snatch has many famous and talented actors who made their characters unforgettable. Casting shows us how important it is to find the right people for the right job, whether in movies or in everyday life. It teaches kids that teamwork and matching people's talents with their roles can create something amazing. Casting is like choosing the pieces of a puzzle that fit together perfectly to make a beautiful picture, and Snatch. Those pieces made a fantastic movie. Filming is the part of making a movie where all the ideas and plans turn into real pictures and sounds. It's when the actors come to a special place called a set or location, and the cameras start rolling to capture every scene. For Snatch, filming was the exciting time when the story started to come alive through the actors' performances, the director's instructions, and the work of the whole crew. The people who worked on filming had to make sure every scene looked just right. Whether it was a fast car chase, a boxing match, or a funny conversation, filming is like painting a big picture with light, movement, and sound all working together. Without filming, a movie would only be words on paper. But thanks to filming, those words become something people can watch and enjoy. During filming of Snatch, the director Guy Ritchie and the camera team worked closely to capture the action in exciting ways. They used many cameras and different angles to make scenes look thrilling and fun. Sometimes they filmed in real places like busy streets or boxing rings to make the movie feel more real. Filming also meant working with the actors so they could show the right emotions like anger, fear, or humor. The crew had to set up lights so the scenes were bright enough to see, but also had the right mood. Filming is a big teamwork job. Everyone from camera operators to sound experts, lighting technicians to costume helpers worked together to make sure every moment looked perfect on screen. It's a big job that needs lots of patience and creativity. Filming Snatch wasn't always easy, and many challenges came up. Sometimes the weather didn't cooperate, like when it rained on a day they planned to film. Other times, scenes had to be redone. Many times because something didn't go quite right. Maybe an actor forgot a line or a camera didn't catch the action perfectly. Some scenes like the boxing fights or car chases were difficult and even a little dangerous. So the filming crew had to be very careful to keep everyone safe. Filming also had to fit into a schedule because actors and crew could only work for certain times. When problems happened, the director and crew had to be smart and work together to fix things quickly, so the movie could keep moving forward. Filming is like solving a big puzzle. where every piece has to fit perfectly for the story to make sense in the end. Filming is one of the most important parts of making Snatch because it turned the story into real pictures and sounds that people could watch and enjoy. Without the hard work of the filming crew and actors, the movie would never have been as exciting and fun. Filming shows us how teamwork, creativity, and patience help bring a story from words to life. For kids, learning about filming can inspire them to be part of telling stories. Whether with cameras, acting, or helping behind the scenes, thanks to the filming of Snatch, millions of people get to watch a fast-paced, funny, and thrilling movie full of adventure. Filming is like magic that turns imagination into reality on the big screen. Distribution is a very important step in making sure a movie like Snatch is seen by people all over the world. After the movie is made, it doesn't just appear in theaters or on TV by itself. Distribution is the process where the movie is shared and delivered to movie theaters, TV channels, streaming services, and even places where people can buy DVDs. Think of distribution like a giant delivery system that takes the finished movie from the people who made it and sends it out to all the places where audiences can watch it. Without distribution, the movie would stay hidden in one place, and very few people would get to enjoy it. So the distribution team works very hard to make sure Snatch can be seen by lots of people in many countries. For Snatch, distribution meant deciding when and where the movie should be shown first. The team had to pick the right day to release the movie so it wouldn't have too much competition from other films. They also chose which movie theaters would play Snatch, making sure it was available in cities big and small. The distribution company also made plans for the movie to be released in other countries, sometimes with translated subtitles or dubbing, so people could understand the story better. This way, fans of movies everywhere got the chance to watch Snatch in theaters and later on TV or home video. Distribution also included making trailers and posters that help people get excited to see the movie. These ads are sent out far and wide so everyone knows the movie is coming. Distribution can be a big challenge because movies have to travel a long way and reach many different places. For Snatch, the distribution team had to coordinate with movie theaters, TV channels, and stores all around the world. Each place has its own rules and special ways of showing movies, so the distributors had to make sure Snatch fit all those rules. Sometimes this meant changing parts of the movie or choosing different times to release it to match local customs. They also had to solve problems like piracy, where people try to copy and share the movie without permission. Distribution teams work like busy messengers, delivering the movie safely and on time to all the right places so fans can enjoy it legally and in good quality at the end. Distribution was the magic that helped Snatch travel from a story on paper and scenes on film to screens all around the world. Thanks to the people working in distribution, millions of people got to watch the exciting, funny, and action-packed movie. Distribution shows us how important it is not just to make a movie, but to share it with the whole world. For kids, learning about distribution teaches that teamwork and planning don't stop when the movie is finished. They continue until the movie reaches every fan who wants to watch it. Distribution is like the bridge that connects the movie makers and the audience, making sure the adventure of Snatch is enjoyed everywhere, anytime. When the movie Snatch was ready to be shown to people all over the world, it needed something very important called marketing. Marketing means telling everyone about the movie so they get excited and want to watch it. Imagine if you made a really cool drawing or built a great Lego set, but nobody knew about, then nobody could see how amazing it was. That's why movies need marketing to help everyone hear about the story, the funny parts, the exciting fights, and the shiny diamond. In the story of Snatch, there was a very quiet and clever man named Silo who worked in marketing. Even though he was quiet, Shio was very smart and creative. His job was to make sure people knew about the movie by helping put up posters, talking to reporters, and even making fun videos to show on TV and the internet. Silo knew that if he could tell the story in a way that sounded exciting but simple, and many more people would want to watch it. Silo's first big idea was to make posters that were bright and colorful with pictures of the diamond, the boxers, and funny faces of the characters. He made sure the posters showed the best parts of the movie, like the fast talking, the funny jokes, and the thrilling boxing matches. Silo thought about what kids and families might like. Even if the movie was mostly for grown-ups, he helped write little messages on the posters that said things like, "A crazy adventure with surprises and a diamond you won't believe," so people would be curious. Then Silo went to schools and community centers with the posters and gave out flyers that looked like treasure maps saying, "Come find the diamond in Snatch." Many kids showed the flyers to their parents, and soon whole families were talking about the movie and wanted to see it together. Silo loved seeing smiles when kids and adults talked about the movie, and he knew that his work was helping bring the story to life for lots of people. But Silo didn't stop there. He also helped make short video clips that showed the funniest and most exciting parts of the movie without giving away the ending. These videos were played on the TV and shown before other movies in theaters. Silo made sure the videos were easy to understand so kids and adults could both enjoy them. He even helped plan fun contests where kids could draw their own diamond or make up funny names for characters. The winners got special tickets to see the movie before anyone else. Silo also talked to reporters and helped them ask the actors and the director questions about the movie. Because of Silo's work, the news stories about Snatch were interesting and made people want to learn more. Silo believed that marketing wasn't just about selling tickets. It was about sharing a story that could make people laugh, feel excited, and enjoy time together. In the end, thanks to Silo's big ideas and hard work, Snatch became very popular. Lots of people came to watch the movie, and they talked about it for a long time afterward. Silo didn't want to be famous or take credit. He just loved knowing that he helped bring a fun, wild story to people all around the world. He knew that marketing was like planting seeds. If you take care of them and help them grow, beautiful things happen. So Silo kept thinking of new ways to share stories and help people discover adventures even when no one was looking. Because sometimes the quietest people can do the biggest things. And Silo's job in marketing showed how important it is to tell stories in ways everyone can understand and enjoy. And that's how a small, kind man helped a big movie find its way into the hearts of many. When the movie Snatch was finally finished, the most exciting part came, the release. The release means the day the movie is shown for the first time to people in theaters, on TV, or even on the internet. It's like a big party where everyone gets to see the story on a giant screen. But releasing a movie is not just about picking a day and opening the doors. It needs a lot of planning, hard work, and careful timing to make sure many people will come to watch it. In the story of Snatch, there was a quiet man named Silo who had a very important job during the release. Silo was calm but very smart. He worked behind the scenes to help make sure everything went smoothly so the movie could be seen by as many people as possible. Even though he didn't stand on a stage or talk loudly, his work helped make the movie's big moment a huge success. Before the movie came out, Silo helped plan where and when Snatch would be shown first. He talked with movie theaters all over the city and even other cities, making sure the movie would appear in places where lots of people like to watch films. Silo knew that picking the right day was very important. If they chose a day when many other movies came out, people might be too busy to watch Snatch. So Silo suggested a day when the weather was nice and no other big movies were coming out, so the city's movie lovers would have time just for Snatch. Silo also helped organize special early showings. These were movie times before the official release date, where people could watch the film first and tell their friends how exciting it was. Because of Silo's careful planning, theaters were ready, popcorn was made, and the seats were filled with excited people waiting to watch the Diamond Adventure. On the day of the release, Silo was everywhere, quietly making sure things went right. He helped put up big signs outside the theaters, pointing the way for the movie fans. He helped guide reporters and cameras who wanted to talk to the actors and the director. When people lined up to buy tickets, Silo was there, making sure everything was smooth and no one got confused or left out. Because Snatch was a movie full of surprises, Silo also helped theaters prepare to keep the excitement alive by handing out little cards with fun facts about the gap, movie or jokes from the characters. Kids and adults loved these little cards, and it made the experience of watching Snatch even more special. Silo smiled quietly as he watched families laughing and cheering together, knowing that all his hard work had helped create a day full of joy and fun. After the release, day was over, the movie continued to be shown in more and more places. Silo's job wasn't done yet. He helped collect stories and pictures from the theaters to see how many people liked the movie and where it was the most popular. If there were places where not many people had seen it yet, Shio helped send more posters and cards there, so even more kids and families would get excited about Snatch. He also helped organize special talks where the director and actors answered questions from fans, making the movie feel like a big celebration that never really ended. Thanks to Silo's careful and kind work, Snatch was not just a movie, but a great adventure shared by many. Okay, even though Silo worked quietly, his big heart and smart ideas helped make the gap. Movies release a wonderful story all on its own, a story about teamwork, patience, and sharing something special with the world. When a movie like Snatch is ready to be seen by lots of people, it goes to something called a theatrical release. This means the movie is shown in movie theaters. It's the big places with giant screens and comfy seats where families and friends go to watch new films together. Atrical is a fancy word that means anything to do with the theater or the big movie shows. In the story of Snatch, there was a quiet and clever man named Sio who had a very special job with the theatrical release. Even though Silo was small and didn't talk much, he was very important. He helped get the movie ready for theaters, making sure everything was perfect so that people would have fun watching the story about the diamond, the boxers, and the funny, fast-talking characters. Silo knew that the first time people see a movie on the big screen is very special, and he worked hard to make that moment magical for everyone. Before the movie showed in theaters, Silo helped with something called movie prints and copies. This means making sure the movie was sent out to all the theaters in the right way. A movie can't just appear on a screen. It needs special machines and files to show the pictures and sounds perfectly. Silo checked that all the theaters had the right equipment and that the movie was sent safely so it wouldn't get lost or damaged. He worked with the theater managers and helped solve problems if any machine didn't work right. Sometimes the movie was sent on big film reels and sometimes as digital files on computers. Silo made sure all the copies looked great, so the colors were bright, and the sounds were loud and clear. Because of his careful work, when people sat down to watch Snatch, the movie played smoothly from start to finish, and everyone enjoyed the exciting story without any interruptions. When the movie was showing in theaters, Silo's job wasn't over. He helped with the movie schedules. This means deciding what times the movie would play each day so that as many people as possible could come see it. Silo made sure there were morning shows for families, afternoon shows for kids after school, and evening shows for grown-ups. He also helped organize special events at some theaters, like meet and greets, where people could meet actors or see behind-the-scenes pictures. Silo loved watching people laugh, cheer, and sometimes jump out of their seats when the movie got exciting. He even helped put out little snacks and drinks that people could buy to enjoy while watching the movie. Because Silo thought about everything, the theaters became happy places, full of energy and smiles. Whenever Snatch was playing, everyone left the theaters talking about the story and the characters, and many came back to see it again. After a while, Silo helped collect stories from the theaters about how many people came to see the movie and what they thought about it. He wanted to know which parts of the story kids liked best and what made people laugh or get surprised. Silo shared these stories with the movie makers so they could learn what people enjoyed. He also helped plan how long the movie would stay in theaters before it moved on to other ways people watch movies, like on TV or at home. Even after the movie stopped playing in some theaters, Silo kept working quietly to help the movie reach new places. He believed every person should have a chance to enjoy the fun adventure of Snatch just like he did. Okay, Silo didn't want to be famous or take a bow. He just wanted to make sure the movie story was told the best way possible on the biggest screens where magic happens and movies come alive. And that is how Shio, the quiet helper, made the theatrical release of Snatch a wonderful experience for kids, families, and everyone who loves stories. After a movie like Snatch has been shown in big theaters where lots of people come to watch on huge screens, the next big step is something called home media. Home media means the movie can be watched at home on your TV, computer, or other devices whenever you want. This could be on DVDs, Blu-ray discs, or even through online streaming. It's like having your very own movie theater right in your living room. In the story of Snatch, there was a quiet, smart man named C who helped make sure the movie could be enjoyed by families everywhere, not just at the theater. CEO's job was to help get the movie ready to be sent into homes so people could watch it again and again with their friends and family. He knew how special it was for kids and grown-ups to be able to watch a movie whenever they wanted in cozy pajamas, with popcorn and blankets. One of the biggest jobs Silo did was to help prepare the movie for DVD and Blu-ray discs. These discs are round and shiny like little silver plates, and they hold the whole movie. But making a movie fit on a disc isn't as simple as it sounds. Silo worked with a team to make sure the picture and sound were still very clear and bright. Just like in the theater, he helped choose the best scenes to include as special extras like funny bloopers, behind-the-scenes videos, or interviews with the actors. Silo knew kids would love to see how the movie was made and hear the actors talk about their favorite parts. He also helped design the colorful covers and boxes for the discs with pictures of the diamond, the boxers, and the funny characters. Okay, so everyone would want to take the movie home. Silo made sure the discs had easy instructions so kids and parents could watch the movie without any trouble. Silo also helped bring Snatch to new places through something called digital release. This means the movie could be watched on computers, tablets, or phones by downloading it or streaming it online. Silo helped make sure the movie worked well on all these different devices so kids and families could watch it wherever they were, at home, on a trip, or even at a friend's house. He helped create fun and simple menus on the screen where people could choose what to watch next or pick their favorite scenes. Silo made sure the movie was easy to find and easy to play so no one had to wait or get frustrated. Because of Silo's hard work, Snatch became a movie that could travel inside people's homes and hearts anytime and anywhere. Finally, Silo helped make sure that everyone knew when and where they could get the movie at home. He helped create posters and fun commercials that showed kids and families enjoying Snatch on their TVs, smiling and laughing. Together, he worked with stores and websites so the movie was easy to buy or rent. Silo loved hearing stories from kids who watched the movie with their brothers and sisters or parents, and how they talked about the diamond and the exciting adventures long after the movie ended. Even though Silo never wanted to be Famous, his quiet, careful work made sure the fun of Snatch didn't stop when the theater lights went down. Thanks to him, the movie could come to life in thousands of homes, making movie time a happy time for many families. And that's how Silo, the quiet helper, made the home media release of Snatch a big, wonderful adventure for everyone. After a movie like Snatch is shown in theaters and homes, something important happens called the reception. Reception means how people feel about the movie. If they like it, talk about it and want to see it again. It's like when you draw a picture and show it to your friends and family. Their smiles, words, and claps tell you if they like your work. In the story of Snatch, there was a quiet and thoughtful man named Silo who helped listen to what people said about the movie. Even though he didn't act in the movie or make the story, Shio's job was very special because he helped the movie makers understand how much people enjoyed the adventure with the diamond, the boxing matches, and the funny characters. Silo knew that listening carefully was just as important as telling a good story. After the movie came out, Silo helped collect many stories from people who watched Snatch. He read their words, heard their laughter, and saw their happy faces in pictures and videos. Some people said the movie was exciting and full of surprises, while others loved the jokes and the way the characters talked really fast. Silo made sure all these thoughts were shared with the director and the actors, so they would know how their hard work made people smile and feel thrilled. He also noticed when some parts were confusing or hard to understand and told the movie makers how they could make future movies even better for kids and families. Silo believed that every opinion mattered and that listening to others helped make stories stronger and more fun. Silo also helped organize special events where fans of the movie could meet the people who made it. These events were like little parties where kids and adults could ask questions, take pictures, and talk about their favorite parts. Silo made sure these events were friendly and fun so everyone felt welcome. He also helped the movie get awards and prizes by telling the right people about how well the movie. When the movie won awards, Shio smiled quietly because he knew it meant the story was shared with many hearts around the world. But more than anything, Shio loved hearing how kids said the movie made them laugh and dream about adventures. He knew that was the best kind of reception when a story brings joy to people's lives. In the end, thanks to Silo's careful listening and kind heart, Snatch became more than just a movie. It became a special memory for many people. Silo helped the movie grow from a story on a screen into something real that touched families, friends, and even strangers who had never met. He believed that good stories live on when people share how they feel about them. And that is exactly what happened with Snatch. Even though Silo worked quietly in the background, his big job made the movie's reception warm and happy, like a cozy blanket wrapped around everyone who watched. And that is how Silo helped the movie Snatch become a shining star in the world of stories. One smile and one word at a time. When a movie like Snatch is shown in theaters, one of the most important things people watch is called the box office. Collection. This is a fancy way of saying how much money the movie makes from people buying tickets to watch it. The more tickets sold, the bigger the box office collection. This money helps the people who made the movie earn back the money they spent on making it, and it shows if the movie was popular. In the story of Snatch, there was a quiet and clever man named Sio who helped the movie do very well at the box office. Even though Sio didn't act or direct the movie, his special job was to help bring lots of people to the theaters so they would watch Snatch and enjoy the exciting adventure with the diamond and the boxers. Silo worked hard behind the scenes to make the movie a big success. One way Silo helped the box office collection was by making sure the movie was shown in many theaters where lots of people lived. He talked with theater owners and managers too. Find the best places to play Snatch, especially in cities where many families like to watch movies. Silo also helped choose the best days and times for the movie to be shown, like weekends and holidays when more people had free time because of Silo's smart planning. More and more people came to watch the movie on big screens, bringing in lots of ticket sales. He also helped with fun events and contests that made the movie even more exciting and helped spread the word to friends and neighbors. Thanks to Silo's careful work, the movie's box office collection grew bigger and bigger, making the movie makers very happy. Silo also helped keep track of how many tickets were sold and where the movie was most popular. He used this information to help decide where to show the movie next, sending it to new theaters and even new countries. Silo made sure the movie was shown in the right places so that kids and families everywhere could enjoy the story. He also helped organize special screenings and premieres where important guests and movie stars came to watch. Snatch first. These special shows helped create excitement and made more people want to buy tickets. Silo knew that making the box office collection bigger wasn't just about money. It was about sharing a fun, thrilling story with as many people as possible. At the end, because of Silo's hard work and smart ideas, the box office collection for Snatch was very successful. The money from all the ticket sales helped the movie makers plan more movies and adventures in the future. But for Silo, the best part was hearing how many people loved watching Snatch on the big screen and how it brought smiles, laughter, and excitement to families and Hanlon friends. Even though Silo was quiet and worked behind the scenes, his big job helped make sure the movie was seen and enjoyed by many. That's how Silo's special contribution helped the box office collection of Snatch grow very big and strong, turning the movie into a wonderful adventure for the whole world. When the movie Snatch came out, many people watched it and shared what they thought. There is a special website called Rotten Tomatoes where many reviewers give scores to movies for Snatch. About 74 out of 100 reviewers liked the movie, which is a good score. They said the movie was full of funny and quick, talking interesting characters and dark comedy, which means the jokes were a little bit serious but still funny. Another website called Metacritic, which also collects reviews, gave the movie a score of 55 out of 100, meaning some people liked it and some people thought it was just okay. The audience, or regular people who went to watch the movie, gave it a grade, which means most people enjoyed it, but it wasn't perfect. So overall, many people thought Snatch was fun to watch, but some felt it could have been better in some ways. Some reviewers said the movie was a bit like another movie made by the same director, Guy Ritchie, called Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. They noticed that Snatch had similar ideas like the story, characters, and the way it looked. Because of this, a few people thought Snatch didn't feel very new or different. One famous movie reviewer named Roger Ebert gave Snatch 2 stars out of 4, saying that while the movie was set in the London underworld with gangsters and troublemakers, the most interesting part was about a group called the Irish Travelers. He also said that parts of the movie reminded him more of old American comics and funny shows than other British rap films. Roger Ebert wondered if Snatch was just repeating ideas from the earlier movie instead of making something new. Another reviewer, Elvis Mitchell from the New York Times, said that the movie seemed like it was going backward instead of moving forward. This means he thought the movie wasn't growing or improving compared to earlier films. Some other critics said the story didn't feel deep or meaningful enough. They agreed with Roger Ebert when he said the movie was not boring, but it didn't build up excitement or have a strong ending. They felt like the movie showed lots of cool things and funny moments, but didn't have a big message or something important to say. Even with these comments, many people still enjoyed the movie because of its style, the fast talking, and the interesting characters. Even though some critics had mixed feelings about Snatch, the movie became very popular with fans and grew a special following called a cult following. This means lots of people love the movie and watch it many times because it's unique and fun in its own way. The movie even made it to IMDb's list of the top 250 movies, which is a big deal because it shows many people think it is one of the best movies. In July 2025, Snatch was also chosen by readers of the New York Times as one of the best movies made in the 21st century, ranking at number 209. This means that even years after it came out, many people still think Snatch is an important and exciting movie to watch and talk about. End 2016. People got very excited because they announced a new television show based on the movie Snatch. This means the story from the movie was going to be told in many episodes on TV, not just in one movie. The people who made the show said it would be a bit like another famous TV show called Fargo, which took a movie and made it bigger and longer. For TV, the new Snatch series was created by a man named Alex D. Rockoff, who wrote the story and helped manage everything as the main boss or showrunner. The show was inspired by a true story about a big gold heist. That means a fancy robbery where a lot of gold bars were stolen. That happened in London. This made the story extra exciting because it was based on real events. The TV show was made for a special streaming service called Crackle, which means people could watch it online whenever they wanted. The Snatch TV series had a very famous group of actors. One of the stars was Rupert Grint, who many kids and families know because he played Ron Weasley in the Harry Potter movies. Rupert not only acted in the show, but also helped as one of the executive producers, which means he helped make big decisions about how the show was made. Other well-known actors in the show included Doug Ray Scott, Ed Westwick, Luke Pasqualino, Lucien Laviscount, Phoebe Deniver, and Juliette Aubrey. These actors played important roles that came and went throughout the story, helping to make the show interesting and fun to watch. Because of these great actors and the exciting story, the show became very popular with people who loved watching crime and adventure shows. The series had a total of 20 episodes, and each episode lasted about 1 hour, which is the same as a long movie. This gave the creators plenty of time to tell a big and detailed story with lots of twists, surprises, and new characters. The show became the most watched series on Crackle, which means it was the favorite among all the programs on that streaming service. Making the series was a big team effort. Well, it was a joint project between several big companies like Sony Pictures Television, Little Island Productions, and Sony Folk, Crackle Originals. These companies worked together to bring the story to life and make sure the show looked great, sounded perfect, and kept viewers interested from the first episode to the last. The Snatch TV series first started on March 16, 2017, and ran for 2 whole seasons. This means it told a long, exciting story over many weeks, giving fans plenty of time to follow the adventures and mysteries. Even though it was based on the movie, the show created new stories and introduced new characters to keep things fresh and exciting. For many fans, the TV series was a great way to enjoy the world of Snatch in more detail, watching new surprises and big adventures unfold on their screens. Thanks to the hard work of the cast, the creators, and the teams behind the scenes, the Snatch TV series became a fun and thrilling show that many people love to watch again and again. When a movie like Snatch becomes very popular, and lots of people love it, sometimes other people want to make new versions of the same story. These new versions are called remakes. A remake is when someone takes the original movie and tells the story again, but maybe changes some parts or shows it in a new way. This helps new audiences, including kids and families who didn't see the first one, enjoy the exciting adventures all over again. In the story of Snatch, there was a quiet and clever man named Silo who helped keep the original movie spirit alive and made sure the remakes could be fun and exciting. Even though Silo didn't star in the movie, his careful work behind the scenes helped the story travel to new places and new people through these Remakes. Silo's special job was to help the people making the remakes understand what made Snatch so loved in the first place. He shared stories about the cool characters, the funny moments, and the thrilling chase for the diamond. Silo knew that keeping the important parts of the story was very important, but he also helped the remake teams find ways to add new ideas that would surprise and excite new viewers. Sometimes remakes happen in different countries or languages, so Silo helped make sure the story still made sense and was fun for kids and families everywhere. He worked quietly with writers, directors, and producers to keep the fun and energy of Snatch alive in each new version. When remakes are made, they also need to be shared with people in the best way. Silo helped plan how to show the new versions of Snatch in theaters, on TV, or online so more people could see the movie's fun story again. He made sure that everyone who loved the original movie, as well as new fans, knew when and where to watch the remakes. Silo also helped organize special previews and events where kids and families could watch the new Snatch and talk about their favorite parts. Because of Silo's thoughtful work, the remakes became a great way to bring the story to life again with fresh energy and excitement at the end. Thanks to Silo's hard work and quiet dedication, the remakes of Snatch helped the story live on for new generations of fans. Even though remakes can sometimes be tricky because they have to balance old and new ideas, Silo made sure the heart of the story, the adventure, the laughter, and the mystery stayed strong. Because of him, kids and families around the world could enjoy Snatch, not just once, but many times in many different ways. Silo's contribution was like a bridge that connected and some information about it. How do you like our today's video? Please let us know by commenting. And if you like this video, please like it, share it, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.